I'm 30, female, and I started dating Joe, 31, back in May. Things moved fast, and soon after we got together, he asked me to be his +1 to his friend Meg's wedding. I'd never met Meg, but I figured it'd be a fun weekend, so I agreed. We RSVP'd, and Joe booked plane tickets and a hotel room for the event, which was still a couple of months away. I was excited. New relationship, fancy wedding, a little getaway. But as time went on, cracks started showing in our relationship, and money was a big one. I'm frugal, maybe to a fault. I live in my own apartment, scraping by paycheck to paycheck with a small savings stash for emergencies. Joe, on the other hand, lives rent-free at his parents' place and loves splashing cash on nice dinners, trips, and random luxuries. He'd push me to do the same, which led to arguments. I wasn't trying to be cheap, I just didn't have the money to keep up. By early August, I realized we weren't working out. The money fights, plus other differences, made it clear we weren't a good fit. So I ended things about 5 weeks before Meg's wedding. I broke up with Joe partly because I didn't want to be in wedding photos, creating awkward memories for Meg to look back on. I wanted to be respectful. I returned everything Joe had left at my place, except a few things he said I could keep. I even offered to pay for my plane ticket and half the hotel cost, over $400, which nearly wiped out my savings. I thought that was fair, since I wouldn't be using them. Joe accepted, and I figured we were square. Then, out of the blue, Joe texted me, asking for another $125 to cover my portion of Meg's wedding expenses, like my plate at the reception. He said deposits had already been paid to vendors, and since it was so close to the date, I should chip in. I was floored. 5 weeks is plenty of time for Meg to fill my seat, or for Joe to find another +1, who'd also benefit from my half of the hotel I was already paying for. Plus, if I was going to the wedding, I wouldn't be paying Meg for my plate. Guests don't do that. Why should I pay now that I'm not going? It felt like Joe was trying to squeeze me for more. I get that weddings are expensive and maybe Meg's out some cash for the head count, but isn't that just part of the deal when someone cancels? People RSVP and then can't make it. It happens. I gave over a month's notice, which I thought was more than reasonable. I'm not trying to stick Meg with a bill, but I've already stretched myself thin covering the travel costs I won't even use. Handing over another $125 feels like punishment for breaking up with Joe, not a fair request. I told Joe no, explaining my side, but he got upset, saying I was being selfish and leaving Meg in a lurch. Now I'm wondering if I'm wrong. I don't know Meg personally, but I don't want to be rude to her or Joe. Still, I can't help feeling like this is more about Joe's frustration with the breakup than about wedding logistics. My savings are nearly gone, and that $125 is groceries for weeks. I want to do the right thing, but I also need to look out for myself. Should I have to pay for a wedding I'm not even attending? Am I the asshole for not paying for a wedding I'm not attending? Thanks for listening, and if you want to hear more interesting stories, just click the link below.